Hi, this is Johnny from BrewKegTap. We're going to do a video to show you how we've reconditioned our Corny kegs, or our Corny style kegs. We used to have an A, B and C grade. What we've basically done is we've split the A and some of the Bs. We're going to put them into one category, and then the top end of the A's we're going to have a new category for those. So I'm going to show you the top category, which we're going to call the superior grade keg, or a superior reconditioned Corny keg. I'll show you the best example of those first, and then we'll go to sort of like the bottom end of the superior grade. So you can see with this one, this is actually an AB keg made in 2007, and it's absolutely spotless in terms of there's no dings on it at all. The base is perfect, the top is perfect, and that's a really super keg. Almost looks new pretty much. Moving along, got a similar looking keg, again top and bottom are perfect. This one's got a very slight little tiny little kind of like pebble or gravel ding just there. So that's still a superior keg. There's no issues anywhere else. On some of the superior kegs you might get a slightly bigger scratch or dent, but essentially if they're very light dents, or if there's only one of them, then it would still be a superior grade. So this keg is absolutely perfect, top and bottom, except you can see, hopefully, there's a little scratch that just runs up there, okay? It kind of looks like a seam, to be honest, because it's so straight, but that would still be a superior grade keg, because the rest of it is absolutely perfect. And then moving, so obviously within these categories, you will have super lovely, fantastic, like new looking kegs, to kegs which are towards the border between the superior grade and then the standard grade, which is the grade below. And obviously it's quite difficult to sometimes get them in the right grade. But this one, there's no damage at all to the bottom or the top. There's no damage around the bottom or around the top. But there are a few, there's a tiny little ding there. There's a few really small, which you probably can't even see on camera, but there's just a few tiny little dings, but there's no big dings. So in that case, that would be a superior grade. If one of those was much bigger and then it had lots of the other ones as well, then that might well move to a standard grade, but we would categorise that as our superior grade keg. Okay. So moving down to the standard grade kegs. Now these are kegs which are perfectly serviceable, and through our experience, about a good 80% of home brewers are very happy with a keg like this. So if you want to save yourself a few quid, either buying individual kegs or with kit kegs, kegs with kits, then go for the standard and you won't be disappointed. All our standard and superior grade kegs are guaranteed to have no welds, and they're guaranteed for the rubber to be to not leave black marks. I mean, touching all the stainless, you sometimes get it causes slight blackening on your fingers, but that's just because of the treatment of the stainless. But the rubber itself, you can feel it, you can hear it's nice fresh rubber, and that's not going to leave any marks on your floor or on your fridge when you put it in there. Okay. So why is this a standard keg compared to a superior keg? Well, you can see we've got a very, I mean, there's still small dings. There's a little ding there, tiny ding there, but with this one you can see it's got some dings in the base, and that's what specifically makes it a standard keg, a standard grade keg. Got a ding there, and there's a little ding there as well. Do we have any dings in the top? Nope. So it's a perfectly fine keg, but it's not quite up to our grade of a superior, so that's our standard. I'll show you some of the other ones quickly. So this is towards the bottom end. Well, in fact, some of our standard ones, they might have reasonably big dents in the bottom, and you can see there's a ding there. But again, that fill it full of beer, it's going to come out tasting exactly the same as it would do with a keg without any dings in. That's another standard grade, just a ding in the bottom and a scratch on the side. But apart from that, it's absolutely fine. There's another one, that's probably the worst. That's kind of the worst ding you'd see on a standard grade keg. Again, it's not going to cause you any issues. You're still going to be able to pressurise it to any kind of pressure that you would need to when you put beer in it. And in fact, I mean, with that particular keg, if it's sat in your keezer, I mean, the top is perfect. The sides, in this case, are perfect. It's just the bottom that's got that ding. Okay, so as I said, like, you know, there's so many different things. I mean, some of these kegs are. This one's from 1986, for instance. So what's that? That's 14, 15, 35 years old. You know, it's almost as old as me. And you know, it's been used a lot, and so yeah. So like the odd little thing like that isn't something that's going to stop it working. You can give it a new home. Right. Last of our standard kegs. This one, it's all fine apart from you've got a ding there and a ding there. It's probably when it's been full of liquid, it's just been dropped from a height onto the floor, causing those dents. But that's it. So that's another one of our standard kegs. Okay, so going towards our inferior kegs now. We've got two of those to show you. We don't often have these. These are kegs that either have welds or have perished rubber, so that they leave black marks on your fingers. Now, if I show you my hand like that, it's relatively clean. It's just marks from handling the kegs generally. But if I rub the bottom of this one, you'll see that straight away black rubber comes off, and pretty much that's quite hard to get rid of. Apart from that, it's quite a nice keg. So on the surface of it, you get it out of the box and you know, oh, it's a really nice keg, but as soon as you get it wet, or even just kind of put it on your floor, or you put it in your fridge, you're going to be leaving black marks. So if you want a keg like that, that's great. You're going to save a bit of money, but a keg like that would never be sold as a standard keg or a superior keg. So that's an inferior keg. And we've got another example. We haven't actually got any with welds to show you because we very, very rarely get them. But any kegs with welds, even if the rubber's perfect, there's no dents at all, if there's one weld, that makes it an inferior keg in our mind, because you don't want to put beer in there. It can cause infection issues later down the line. So any kegs with welds, in our opinion, shouldn't be sold to customers expecting to put beer in it and that beer to taste good in the future. So that's another inferior keg. Again, it's just because it gets nasty black rubber everywhere. So those are our three different sorts of 19 litre reconditioned Corny keg. They're all exactly the same in terms of dimensions and fittings. They all come with our double O-ring posts. The lids are all exactly the same. Doesn't matter what brand they are, Cornelius, Safa, AEB, Spartanburg. They're all exactly the same keg, just those grades. Hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea about what you can expect when you buy a reconditioned keg from us. Just one thing last to say is the inferior kegs, you can only buy them individually. The standard and the superior kegs will be available individually and also as part of our kit. So every kit you'll be able to pick standard keg, superior keg. Okay, well thanks for watching and happy brewing.